Welcome back to the podcast, BCS podcast episode 10 or week 10, reviewing week 9. A lot of things happened last week. Obviously, we have one less person right now, but he'll be joining us when he can. Stuck in some traffic. We've had some scheduling issues this week. So,
Yeah.
how's the week been?
Not great. Health hasn't been great. A lot of exams, a lot of school stuff. But health hasn't been great. This is the first day where I feel like 85%. And yeah, started off really shitty. And then we had a great game on Sunday, absolute dominant fashion of the Detroit Lions. Shocker.
Yes.
28 passing yards and 42 points is unbelievable. But yeah, a lot of stuff we can touch on. Just some positives, some negatives, and then we'll look forward to another great week of big matchups, because there's big matchups for pretty much all three teams, realistically.
Indeed.
So yeah, if we're just starting off last week, we'll start off on Friday. USC played Rutgers. Rutgers kind of looked pretty flat for most of the game. They kind of made a little bit of a run.
Game. Yeah, look at the box score. It was maybe the craziest box score you'll ever see. You had a USC running back with 3 touchdowns, Woody Marks, glad he's on the fantasy team, and Ethan Kaliakmanis threw for 300 yards.
Yeah. I mean they played. I mean, he had to because
there was down the whole game.
There was a couple injuries too.
Palmanungai.
I don't know why I blinked on that. Palmanungai got hurt in like the second quarter. They took him out. They put him back in the game, and then he got rocked again. And I'm pretty sure it knocked him out for the rest of the game. And they're just like, yeah, we're done. We're done even taking a risk on this. Because I mean, like you said, Woody Marks did everything, and he only had 94 rushing yards, but he still was cooking all over the field.
A bunch of catches, some rushes of that too. I mean, it was an overall real good game by USC. Because you look at that spread initially, and you're like, I think it was like 14 or 15, and it's like, I don't know. USC should they be 14-point favorites of anybody right now?
Yeah.
But Rutgers is on a absolute nightmare trajectory right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
started off hot, 4-0, 4-4 now. I mean,
they might not even. I mean, there's still a chance they don't make a bowl game. We're in that territory now.
Both these teams were darlings. End of September.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Wow, these teams could be good." And then
I think they were both 4-0, right?
Yeah,
straight downhill.
Yeah. Yes, and then Saturday, we'll save the best one, the best two for last, because the one we can talk about when Cozzi gets here was an absolute insane game.
I just want to talk about that now. Let's talk about that now.
I mean, let's just do it. I mean, Nebraska.
They should have lost.
Nebraska outplayed Ohio State most of the game.
Absolutely.
Their offensive line, we knew that with Simmons out for the season, they're going to need to fill somebody in that tackle position.
They've averaged under 3 yards a carry the last 6 quarters.
They could not run the ball. They had no time. I mean, Will Howard. I mean, he played pretty good. He played as good as he needed to, but at the same time, it's like they had many opportunities to lose the game.
He threw the ball 16 times while not being able to run the ball. I mean, Nebraska tried their best in 2022 Michigan and just time of possession. They huddle everything. It was funny because like the way that they were playing, even on the last drive, where they had a chance to win the game, they're full huddling. They had the ball 5 minutes left, and they full huddled.
Their last possession was probably the worst possession of offensive calling I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Screen pass for like -5 yards, and then another screen pass, and then
they did get hosed in the OPI. People forget about that. They got hosed in the first OPI, and then the next play was a very bad targeting. It balances out, and then Ryan Day, loses his mind.
That penalty. I mean, that was not a targeting. I mean, the refs overturned it. Now they overturned it. I mean, you could say at the moment that the refs were, thinking it was a targeting. There should have been no targeting Ohio State. The game should have been over earlier. Nebraska scoring off that possession and making Will Howard beat them was kind of that big deal. I mean, but this Ohio State team, I mean, Nebraska kind of gave the formula to make Will Howard have to throw the ball. I mean, if you lose to Will Howard, I mean, throwing the ball, I mean, respect to them, but at the same time, like they could not run the ball to save their life. I'm pretty sure they had less than 100 total rushing yards.
Oh, for sure.
Like maybe even maybe even less than 60. I'm pretty sure.
Because I remember it was funny because they had a bad rushing stat, and I was like, "Man, you guys can't run the ball." And then later, obviously, in our game, we had even worse rushing.
Yeah, I mean, and then they, so then they go to the backup tackle. He gets hurt, and now we're on a third string tackle, or potentially playing a guard at tackle this week, which should be very interesting to me to see how that happens, especially with such a big game this week.
Oh my God! Do you hear that? Whoa! The glass broke.
Yeah, he's here.
Cozzi.
See here. So you guys, I heard you as I was in the back room. In the waiting room, shall I say?
Yeah.
What's stomping this week, guys?
Funnily enough, we literally just we talked about the Friday night game, and then we just quickly went over your game.
Yeah, we quickly went over your game just to kind of, go over the obvious things. Running the ball wasn't well.
Running the ball wasn't well. We kept trying to run to the left side. Never understood that. Look, it's 31 rushes for 64 yards. God awful. They forced us into, hey, guess what, Will Howard? You have to go win this game. And dude performed well. I kept sitting back there and watching him scan the field. And I was like, man, if he had the intangibles, like a good arm, things like that, he was looking off the safety. He was scanning the full field, finding the open guy. It's just, I don't think he has that great of an arm. And that's what holds him back. If he has the brain up there, because I literally saw him go like this, scan this way, scan that way. He had good time. He had a lot of time, actually. Even though the line couldn't run block, they did well in pass blocking. The pass blocking was there. His pick was bad. Look, am I worried about Saturday? We'll get to that later, obviously. But the targeting call, dude, come on.
It wasn't targeting.
The play before wasn't OPI either, so it kind of balances out. But I mean, the reaction of Ryan Day, like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
he's just being Ryan Day. And I said, like, there was no more Ryan Day clip than him being fake angry and then fake spiking the headset. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna be mad and I know you're trying to be 2024 Michigan, 2023 Michigan so bad. Like, if you're gonna be Harbaugh, throw the play sheet and earn your 15 yards.
Yeah,
that's all. I'm always like, even when you're getting tossed in baseball, like, earn the ejection. You got a 15-yard penalty, you did nothing. Like, dude.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing. I get it, but seriously, that was probably one of the worst targeting calls I've seen in the last.
It wasn't even on his head. It was on his shoulder.
It literally was on his shoulder, this and that. Overall, I think Zack put it out there. Donovan Jackson's going to have to probably play tackle. Am I worried about that? I don't know. I mean, injured. Dude, that left tackle keeps getting injured. So it's kind of like, and Donovan hasn't been helped this whole season either. So it's also at that point, like, who's going to be the next man to step up realistically? I mean, you're probably going to have to move Jackson out there to left tackle and Luke Montgomery inside at guard. And that's what we're rolling with on Saturday. I mean, like I said, we'll get to our prediction, but overall, not a great game, kind of scary. Maybe it wakes us up, lights a fire under our ass. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
But we definitely move on from that.
Yeah.
Indiana would have been nice if they lost.
Indiana continues to roll 31-17 over Washington. Even with the backup quarterback, they looked pretty good. Iowa destroys Northwestern 40-14. This Iowa team, they're covering overs by themselves at this point, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
they're 7-1 in overs now. Like,
telling you, man,
whatever they did last year, to fire these coaches and move people around, it's working. Minnesota destroys Maryland 48-23. Yeah, I mean that's I mean
2-0 lock of the week.
Minnesota's rolling.
And then
I don't even know what the lock of the week was. I don't know if it was the over or Minnesota, but
either
Oregon, I don't know if you mentioned Oregon destroyed Illinois.
It wasn't even close.
Destroyed.
I'm pretty sure it was like 17-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was insane.
Illinois scored early, but then they just poured it on.
Yeah. And then the final game before we touch on the main one.
35-3 at halftime.
My lock of the week to cover the spread, Penn State wins 28-13 over Wisconsin. And they move into a big game of a top 5 matchup.
Potentially down a quarterback.
Potentially down a quarterback.
He did practice today, but I mean, look, I watched this Penn State game. Look, here's the thing. It's funny because Penn State and Ohio State are kind of mirror images of themselves right now with the way they look in games. Not saying that we run the same style of play calling, offense, etc. That's not what I mean by this. What I mean by it is they struggle in the first half of just about every single game. And then the third quarter is their best quarter. And even in this game against Wisconsin, Ohio State played terrible third quarter against Nebraska. Penn State did not even look good in the third quarter against Wisconsin. It was the fourth quarter that came through for them. Once again, it's two teams that are very feel the other team out in the first half and then get it rolling after halftime. So it's going to be a very interesting, similar type of teams going at it this Saturday.
Yeah.
And then now we can get to the big one.
I mean, you just look at it like this, all right? And I'll start us off. We didn't play well. We didn't play well at all. We ran the ball efficiently, but I just don't understand why we have a young quarterback who is showing that he can throw the ball. He is proving it in this game and multiple passes, and they don't let him throw the ball. 10 passes in the entire first half. We had less passes going into the fourth quarter than Michigan. How do you not even give him the opportunity to throw the ball is what I'm trying to figure out. First off, first drive looked great. Moved the ball down the field pretty easily. Missed a field goal. Very unorthodox, very unfamiliar with Jonathan Kim missing 25-yard, 27-yard chip shots.
That big house loud effect.
Yeah.
Tough place to play.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just like what, and then he hits like a 50-yarder. Like it makes no sense. Like this is like, it just doesn't make any sense. And then it was kind of like a back and forth where we punt. Michigan State, we scored the first touchdown, a rush up the middle with Nate Carter, who Nate Carter looked like he had played his best game of his career, honestly. Had some big runs. Looked like the fire was really, really kicking that day. But yeah, back. Michigan scores the first touchdown in the second quarter for them. That was a Loveland touchdown.
Tommy Doman drops the extra point.
Yeah, Tommy Doman. Yeah, Tommy Doman drops the extra point. And then Childs, I go to the bathroom thinking, it's going to be halftime. There's only like 25 seconds left. And just another bad young mistake where he just rolls out and doesn't know what's going on behind him and fumbles the ball.
Coastal Carolina transfer Josiah Stewart continues to lead the country. Highest rated player in PFF. Another great game. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing unbelievable. And then Michigan scores at a half. We score a field goal. And then it's just kind of like that punt. Michigan scores again where it's 24-10. And it's like, well, we only got a couple minutes left.
Wait, whoa. We need to talk about your onside kick for a second.
Okay, that was a great try, honestly. Except for the guy went offsides. You
got an offense that cannot move the ball.
Yeah.
And you give us a short field.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Okay, here's the thing. This is I agree with you on that. And yes, you can say, we forced him into a 3-and-out after that. But it flipped the field so much that then you gave Michigan a short field that had to go 60 yards to score a touchdown. Yeah. Like it was just all around a bad play call that flipped the field when your defense was playing well. And I think that you could have probably won the game 17-16, but you literally,
for sure.
They weren't moving the ball. Like, I get right out of the half, like it was a scripted 11 plays. 75-yard drive by Michigan. That was a great drive. Outside of that drive, Michigan didn't look good.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my God, we played a 1 out of 10 game and won this game comfortably.
Yeah, we played. I mean, the biggest problem, and we'll get to it at the end. I mean, we had a great drive, unbelievable catch from Nick Marsh. Of course, he keeps improving every single week. I don't know why we just don't keep throwing him the ball more and more. But he's just making moves like it's insane. I've never seen. Hey, he made 3 moves on that one play, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, garbage time.
Yeah, garbage time. Come on, there's still a chance. And then we made
4 minutes left in the game.
We made Michigan 14. Punt, and here's the Tommy Doman special where the punt goes 25 yards in the air and lands at midfield, and I'm like, okay, so we have a chance. Yeah, and then start driving down the field, and like 4th and 5, and I don't want to call it hero play, but we attempted a hero play when there was a wide open first down running lane. Wide open. Nobody in the area, and we try to throw it in the end zone.
Yeah, the screen was always another brilliant play. Doing that delayed screen or whatever it was, receiver screen.
Yeah, it was like a 3rd and or first off, we got an intentional grounding, and that was crazy. I don't know if that was this drive or the other drive, but yeah, there's like a couple screens where it was like 2nd and 20, and somehow we got a first down. It's like the 3rd down offense looked great. The first down and 2nd down did not look great. And it was like
there's one clip. It was a 3rd and 10, and it was a delayed handoff to Nate Carter up the middle. And they had Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham as our edges.
It was nuts.
These are 2 top 10 pick D tackles. And Mason Graham is literally going like this to the sideline because he knows the play. Yep. He's pointing at where it's going to go. And if you watch the second the ball snaps, he runs exactly to where the play was. He couldn't get the tackle because he was a second late. Yeah. But he's pointing exactly what the play is. So
yeah.
I know there's no Connor. We knew it was coming. But our 3rd and long defense is some of the worst in the country. It's just hysterical what's going on. But don't worry. We'll have 2 new coordinators next year. There's no problems.
But yeah, Michigan, I mean, they played the better game. Most definitely played more complete in the second half. They kind of gave it up, though, with too many mistakes. It's kind of the story of the whole season, too many mistakes. But, I mean, if you told me we're at 4-4 still, I mean, we're still in an all right spot. We're not under 500 yet. So it's a good spot.
Yeah, it was perfect, man. I really think it was a lot of narratives to put to bed this week. It was kind of nice that this game became semi-competitive, especially on the week leading up to it. Shout out Aiden Childs, 4th ranked quarterback in this game. I know there's a lot of talk about him the entire season, how he was better than Orji. Unfortunately, he was not better than Orji, Davis Warren, and Donovan Edwards, the number 1 player in the transfer portal. I don't know what happened with that. It is what it is. Nick Marsh, the guy, Mamatron, Marshatron, terrified. Will Johnson was so scared that he decided not to play this game. Put on our 3rd string corner on him, had him in hell outside of 1 catch. And Colson Loveland now will finish his Michigan career outscoring Michigan State in the 3 games that he played against them. It is what it is. And then he was, brutally assaulted at the end of the game. Actually, Cozzi, I know you'll join me on this. A moment of silence for the female staffer that was viciously stomped on by Khalil Mullings. Thank you. It's just that there's no place for violence like that, stomping on people like that. I'm glad that the footage was found. I know Trump actually said if he gets elected, he's going to release the Poopgate files along with the stomp out video and the JFK assassination. So if there's not already a bunch of reasons to do so, make sure you vote next week so you can get the secret video that happened. It is what it is.
Zack, we need you on this right now. Like, we need your facial reactions.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Listen, there's no place for that type of violence in football. So,
I can tell you that there was a very popular word in a certain group chat that was stomp. I mean, that word
was trending on Twitter, I believe.
I believe it was trending worldwide on Twitter, actually. Not just, there was so much stomping, it created an earthquake here in Columbus. Like,
you felt it?
I did. That stomp was so powerful.
I don't know if the aftershocks got all the way down there.
I felt it. Yep. So horrific.
But look, I have no problem with for real. I have no problem with the fighting after the game. I do appreciate Michigan State doing it on relatively even terms this time. But I thought that was interesting that their bench didn't rush out either. I don't know. That's just me. I'm not being an asshole. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I had a great time at the game. But I had a great
Jonathan
time.
Smith's post-game conference. Oh wow, I'll remember that sucker. I don't know. Seems like a dude doesn't really get it yet, but maybe he'll eventually get it. So, who knows?
I had a great time at the game, by the way. I got to meet Blake. It was a great environment. Two things I would critique, though, is if I was a Michigan fan, which I'm not, thankfully. One, the light show is absurdly overused. Every single media timeout, they use this light show, and I'm just like, okay, we get it. Like, you don't have to use it every single time.
Sorry, we play a noon game against them. I don't know.
Noon games. We have a night game once a year.
Yeah, like it was probably used 25 times. And as much as
we didn't have a night game at the Big House for 115 years.
As much as these Michigan fans will say, I mean, it kind of is quiet in the stadium because of the
I don't know. I mean, look, if you're missing 25-yard field goals due to crowd noise, clearly.
Oh, he's missing 25-yard field goals because he just made a mistake.
I mean, I was told this guy was the best kicker in the history of football.
No one said that.
When we did the position analysis, the first thing was kicker, us, quarterback, us.
No one said that, but
okay.
All right, we'll move on to the rest of the games from.
Yeah, shout out Nate Carter, 0-3 against Michigan, calling us the team down the road. Lost at UConn, transferred to Michigan State, lost twice. I hope he comes back with it a year.
All right.
Or two.
First off, we'll talk about everyone's favorite quarterback, Kyle McCord.
Yes, Donovan Edwards had such a good game. Listen, Donovan Edwards now in his career, he is 4 for 4 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. When I said he should get looks at being serious quarterback, I wasn't kidding.
We can go to Friday night though.
Yeah, Kyle McCord on Thursday night.
Thursday.
God.
300. Oh my God. 3 pick sixes.
Remember when Kyle McCord at the beginning of the season was throwing for 360 yards and
he was in the conversation of Heisman like coming into this week. He had like legit.
No.
Dude, you look at the odds going into this game. He was like 10th or 11th.
Maybe.
I'm not kidding you.
But there's no. And by the way, not only did he throw picks, but
3 of them. 3 pick sixes.
Yeah. 3 pick sixes, 5 interceptions total in the game. I mean, they just got destroyed.
Yeah, the 2 non-pick sixes weren't his fault, but I mean, at that point, who cares? It was semantics.
But the first pick six, that was one of the. That was a.
Jack Tuttle. That was a Michigan quarterback right there.
Let's just give them a touchdown automatically right out of the gate. But yes, Kyle McCord looked terrible, and I think it proved the point that Nebraska and Ohio State made the right choice. Let's just say that. Now we can go to Friday night because talk about a barn burner of a game.
Yeah, it was great.
Boise State UNLV. I didn't get to see a lot of it.
Boston College is up 20-0. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't get to see a lot of it.
Ashton looked good. Not great, but good.
Saw the highlights.
His line did not help.
UNLV had him in hell in the first half.
Yeah. His line.
Every one of his unders hit.
Yeah. His over/under was like 195 rushing yards, and yeah,
I took the under out of pure premise. I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on that?
No. I mean, like I said, I didn't see it.
The thing with UNLV was they had momentum so many times, and they just kept doing this dumb shit. Because the thing is, I don't know how familiar you are with their offense. I think it's the go-go offense, whatever they call it.
Yeah,
so it is. Yes. It's like they'll go from the wishbone triple option to 5 wide.
Yeah,
it is certainly something, but it's one of those ones where you had to live and die by it. So like they would be like in 4th and short, it's like, dude, hand the ball off, and they're like, we're going 5 wide quarterback draw. It's like,
It does. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, the loss of their quarterback really hurts them.
Yeah,
the guy who's sitting out a year transfer.
Backup's almost better.
Yeah, they're similar. I don't know. I mean, It's disappointing because obviously sitting here, there is a certain team who is ranked below Boise that should be given a shot. Yeah. And they're probably not going to get a shot because Boise's going to win out.
Yeah.
Their win over Notre Dame would be better than any win.
Yeah, but any loss. Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. All right. We'll just touch on more Texas. Almost falls into the trap of Vanderbilt.
Can we just say Texas? Okay. I actually watched this game. It was post the Ohio State game. I watched it. Dude, I'm going to tell you what. The end of the game, look, Vandy was down by 10. Texas got that field goal. Vandy had their opportunities. Texas literally let Vandy hang around in this game. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not the same Vandy that we're used to. This is actually a pretty competent Vandy team. I know that's hard to believe because they struggled with Ball State the week before. But this Vandy team is going to go to a bowl game, I would think. I think they are.
They got a bye game coming up.
I mean, you're at Auburn coming up this week. You got South Carolina at home, which who knows there. You got LSU and Tennessee to end the season. Now, I am going to be very honest with you. They are going to throw the kitchen sink at Tennessee, and that place could be wild, crazy, and nuts. Actually, a 50-50.
It's a Vols home game every time.
Now, I'm going to argue this. There was actually a lot of Texas fans there, obviously. I will say this. Well done by the Vandy athletic department. They put a screen up behind the Texas bench.
Wait, did they actually?
Yes, so people couldn't throw stuff on the field.
Oh my gosh.
I
thought that was just a meme.
No, that was a legit thing. They had a screen up on that side of the field.
That's nuts.
That's so Vandy.
So, anyways, that was a good game. Texas let them hang around. Vandy had their shots. They had their chances, etc. But yeah, we can move on.
Yep. Miami rolls. BYU rolls again as underdogs.
And by the way, rolls again. The score does not tell what it was.
Yeah.
These rat lines this year.
I know.
Yeah.
They were an underdog.
Yeah. Yep. Here we go. The big one. The first of the two
Pac-12 teams. It's like TCU a few years ago. It's just these Pac-12 teams or the Big 12 teams just keep winning until it's like, oh.
Yep.
Gotta stop fading them.
The first of the academies, Notre Dame destroys Navy.
As Zack and I called. 6
turnovers from the Naval Academy. And then let's see. Alabama destroys Missouri 34-0.
Yeah, the ball must have been wet for the Navy. That's all I can think.
And then we'll touch on the night game, the nightcap, the all-black uniforms, the home game that I called and nobody wanted to believe.
I don't think LSU is that good.
Cozzi or no?
What?
Did you get to watch this game at all? Obviously, we were busy.
Yeah, I did. I got to watch this. Look, the first half was very sloppy. It looked like LSU was about to run away with it. And then I think we moved I remember we moved bars, and the next thing I came back and it was 21-17 Texas A&M, and I'm just like, what happened?
So I went back and rewatched this game. The clips. Nussmeier threw 3 interceptions that gave the ball in plus territory.
And then you got to remember they went for it on like a 4th down.
Yeah.
And fumbled it. That gave Texas A&M even more momentum, and they were in LSU or Texas A&M territory. I don't understand why they didn't kick a field goal.
So the biggest takeaway from this game is Texas A&M did the right thing. They benched Connor Wigman, and they brought in Marcel Reed, who everybody said, well, what to expect from, and because people only seen him in a couple games at the beginning of the year. I mean, this guy is electric. He threw 2 passes.
He was awesome in that whole game last year.
He ran 9 carries for 62 yards and 3 touchdowns. They just let him run all over the field.
I mean, this box score is hysterical. Nussmeier had 400 yards passing on 50 attempts.
And
they ran the ball 23 times for 24 yards. And then A&M, Marcel Reed, 2 for 2 for 70 yards. And then they ran 5 yards a carry, 50 carries for 240 yards. It's just, I mean, come on. Marcel Reed is going to make so much money, whether he stays at A&M or he goes somewhere in the portal, because it's a very interesting thing with this benching your quarterback and bringing him out, because he obviously started. And they were like, you were going to go back to Wigman a few weeks ago, and because he did great against Texas, against Florida, Marcel Reed, and they brought him back. And you look at the same thing happened with Oklahoma. So the guy that they had stunk, and then they went back to Arnold, and then Arnold almost beat Ole Miss. And it's like, Arnold's leaving in the portal, and it's going to give a big FU to anybody he plays for. And it's just crazy that, like, the portal, man, it just changes everything.
So one thing about this game is those interceptions that he threw were just such timely opportunities that it was just such a backbreaker for A&M. And then they couldn't stop the run. They literally could not stop the run to save their lives, like at all. Like could not stop it. And then it was like, so they got it down to 28-23. And then Marcel Reed steps up and throws a 54-yard pass. And it was like, really? Like you're just I every single time it seemed like in the second half everything went LSU's way in this game. So very unfortunate. But also one quick note, the guy who ate the dog shit out of the cup did not work for Florida State. They got absolutely embarrassed, and I don't know if was that on when you guys were playing?
I don't know. I didn't even watch it.
Yes, it was on while we were playing. Yeah, and apparently from the Miami fans I heard, they said their strategy was to not let Camp Ward win the Heisman, and I guess they played prevent defense in the first drive that they were claiming.
Yes, it basically they didn't want to get torched by Cam Ward. They were just literally playing a shell defense out there. It honestly was just kind of funny, and it completely backfired. Like I was just like. Florida State is honestly.
I think they almost covered. I mean, to be fair.
What was the line?
It was like 20 something.
Yeah, they lost like 20.
They lost by 22. Yeah,
it was close. So, I think it was like 19, 20, floating around there.
I'm just gonna say this: it was just such an awful game. Like Florida State shouldn't even been on the same field as Miami, which is just amazing. Like it's just funny to say because Florida State we thought had the talent, and they just do not belong on the same field with Miami.
This game was like game of the year territory.
Yeah.
In August.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's like worst game of the year.
Yeah.
All right. Now we'll move on to this week.
By the way, I don't know if you've seen their recruiting class. They're down, I think, 7 guys.
Yeah, they just keep losing people.
They are in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. So starting off noon, Minnesota plays at Illinois. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite at Illinois.
Just disclaimer before we get into this week. I have never seen so many weird lines in my entire life.
Nope.
Like we'll get to some of the SEC games after this too.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Continue, Zack.
I'm taking Illinois to win this money line.
The next game might be the single worst matchup I've ever seen.
Who are you taking?
In that game?
Yeah.
Give us a game.
I'm taking Illinois. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to take the cheese. Minnesota, I'm taking them. They have been hot this year. I don't know what's happened recently.
So honestly,
that Michigan game where they almost won.
Honestly, that gives me a lot more confidence, and I'll tell you why. Because when we all pick together, that team never wins.
What do you mean? Penn State. We're on fire last week. We all picked Minnesota. We all picked Tennessee. Or not Tennessee. We all picked Penn State. We were on fire last week.
For a few games. This one, we don't even talk about it. Northwestern Purdue.
Yeah, I mean,
who cares? Look.
Yep, we'll move on.
Neither team.
I absolutely love Purdue in this spot. I'm close to making Purdue my lock of the week.
I'll have a lock of the week by the end of this. UCLA takes on Nebraska.
Here's my lock of the week: Nebraska 6.5.
Okay.
I absolutely love UCLA. Crazy emotional letdown from Nebraska. This is where their season falls apart.
No.
UCLA's got a damn good defense, and they have been very good recently. I understand they're bad. I think they're top 5 in the country and against the spread. I believe they're 6-1 against the spread this year.
They're good.
A few of those games didn't score, and if this could be a defensive slugfest, I love the under too. Yep. So give me the under and UCLA spread.
All right, 7:30. USC travels to Washington. USC 2.5-point favorites.
I just don't really care either way. Both teams are not great, and it's been a whatever. Yeah,
this is the no one gives a shit.
There we go.
70 to 70.
Yep, exactly.
Only 55 kind of worries me, but this is both teams are just going to air it out.
Yep.
This game last year was awesome. I remember they scored in every play.
Yep, they did. Yes.
And then the last game of the night before we touch on all of our
Caleb Williams crying game.
Yeah.
Yes.
On NBC, Wisconsin travels to Kinnick to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa -3.
Night game in Kinnick. I'm taking Iowa. I think that game's gonna rock. It's a rivalry game. The over. Oh yeah, absolutely the over. Yes, absolutely the over.
Vegas still hasn't adjusted. Iowa's averaging 38 on their own.
Yep.
All right, we'll keep going.
I'll
start off. Then we'll go.
Go
to Blake. Then we'll go to Mr. Cozzi. MSU at home, about 7.5, 8-point dogs to Indiana. Indiana, question mark at quarterback. Who is Curtis Rourke going to play? Is he not? It's going to be game time decision, I'm thinking. It seems like he's trending to play. Look, I mean, this is a rivalry game. It really is. This is the type of game where if you don't understand one rivalry, Jonathan Smith needs to get ready to learn another one very quickly, because this one's kind of a passionate one that most fans care about. Look, we've dominated them in history, but they're playing out of their minds. This is kind of like is Indiana going to look ahead to their next couple weeks spot? We don't know. If we play like we did against Iowa, we should have a chance in this game. But if we play like we did last week, it's going to be tough to win this type of game. So we'll see what happens. 52.5 points. I don't think I've seen that many total points in an MSU game in a long time. So we'll see. Over to Blake.
If you guys do what Nebraska did last week and what you were kind of doing in Michigan.
Just run the ball.
You're doing long drives, running the ball, keep the ball in their hands. It could get very interesting. Indiana, every year there's a team I just fade for no reason. I just think they suck. Indiana's that team. I don't care. I'm going to be right. Socrates said, if you keep betting on a team and doubling down every time, you mathematically cannot lose. Socrates did say that. He also hates Indiana. I don't care. I think Michigan State loses like in a field goal game here. But I think the unders too. I don't know. It seems like a 24-20, 24-21 slot fest type of game. Let Childs ball. Who gives a shit? Go out there and sling it. Obviously, you lost your Super Bowl last week, but if you beat a top 15 team at home, that's still impressive. When you were a big home dog a few weeks ago, almost the same number to Iowa, and you promptly manhandled them. They made them throw. Make Taven Jackson throw, and you're fine, because their whole thing is Rourke is the better thrower, and Ellison comes in and just is a sledgehammer. If you stop them up front, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think this game's a lot closer than it's going to be.
I think it's close. I think it's a 7-point win by Indiana at most. I think it's going to be more what Blake says. But I think Indiana somehow finds a way. This is like their we start talking Indiana's for real after this game. I think a lot of people are going to say they won every game manhandlingly. I just feel like this is on the road at Sparty. I don't know. It could get iffy.
Yeah. Now I got my game. I don't understand I'm looking at the spread and the total. I don't understand what's going on. And I'll tell you right now, not a single soul cares about this game at Michigan. People-wise, player-wise, this is all about recruiting right now. And anyone that doesn't really follow recruiting know what the hell is going on. Michigan is launching one of the greatest coups of all time right now to potentially get Bryce Underwood plus 3 other players from LSU and other schools to flip to Michigan. It is an absolute coup. I'm hearing it's nearing the end of it. It could happen by the time this episode comes up. But when we record next week, it's going to be a significantly different attitude for myself, is my prediction. But as for this game, it's like when you go to Costco with your mom, or when your mom goes to Costco, and you walk in there and you go up to the cash register and you're like, how do I have $300 worth of groceries with like 70 things on the item list? That will be Michigan's injury report. I'm hearing every player is dead. Like, we're talking insane levels of I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if they were playing with the Mud Bowl with the frats too on Saturday and Sunday. If they all got hurt in that, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't even remember anybody getting hurt in our game.
There was only one player, his offensive line.
Exactly. And I don't know how everyone's dead. But apparently I was told, someone literally texted me and goes, oh my God, everyone's dead. That was a text. And they're like, we're going to be killed. But Will's out. Tez Johnson's be going crazy. Take all of his overs. Take all of Dylan Gabriel's overs. Probably Dylan Gabriel for Heisman if you want a little bit of juice. I don't think he'll win it, but I think it's going to be a crazy game out of him. Oregon might cover this over themselves, 44.5. Again, I think this game might end up being like 42-17, something like that. Michigan doesn't want to run the ball anymore. I don't know what happened. We did have a really good split with Orji and Warren, which is the only thing I like. But the mismatch you thought the mismatch was bad of Jim Knowles and the Oregon offensive coordinator. My goodness, Wink Martindale might get fired at halftime. But we'll see. I have zero faith. The fact that this is over 2 touchdowns says a lot. But Oregon likes to do that cute shit where they go for 2 every once in a while. So maybe you get lucky and it's like 8-0, 15-0, something like that. But I hope all of my good friends have a great job this week, or have a great time this weekend. Bryce Underwood, Shimani Earls, Elijah Dotson, all the boys. Shout out Belleville. Good luck in your game this weekend.
Okay. Well, I'm going to no prediction Michigan, Oregon, because I got a lot to worry about at noon. Look, I think coming into the season, I always was like the big proponent of a 12-team playoff. It could really affect the regular season. If you go into Happy Valley and you lose this game, you're probably still looking at a playoff game, could still win a national title, which is wild to think of a 10-2 team who, I mean, I can tell you on Sports Talk Radio here, they're like, oh, you lose this game, you're probably not going to make the playoffs, even if you go 10-2. And I'm like, in what world, if Penn State and Oregon both went out and we beat Indiana at home, in what world are they saying, oh, by the way, yeah, the 2 teams you played went undefeated and they're playing for a Big Ten title and you're not making the tournament now?
Yeah, your brand alone gets you in. Like if you were Indiana and you went 10-2, that's a different story.
Exactly.
And you will be going on the road in the playoff game, but still, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I could argue that we might end up the 8 seed. I could argue that we might end up the 8 seed. Anyways,
I mean, SEC is chaos. So yeah,
let's see what happens. I actually think that this was a wake-up call this week. I think that defense didn't play bad against Nebraska. Everyone said that Raiola was going to tear us apart. Nebraska was going to tear us apart. I like Nebraska's intangibles of wide receivers, stuff like that, a lot better than Penn State's. I can tell you that much right now. So does Penn State's offense scare me? Not really. As Blake says, how is Penn State ranked 3rd? Went through this every single week. How is Penn State ranked 3rd? Am I banking on that? No. But am I really looking at their whole body of work and going, compared to Ohio State? In my opinion right now, Oregon boat races Penn State. At Penn State, neutral field, or at Oregon. They didn't boat race us. Now, is it going to be a tough game? Yes. If we play like we did last week, are we going to lose? Yes. Because the offense has to perform. They have to throw downfield. I know we love to have this intermediate passing or these short passing games, stuff like that. But we saw when Will Howard had time, He delivered the ball well. And I'm not saying deep balls. I'm saying 10 to 15 yards over the middle, things like that. That's what got us down the field against Nebraska in this game and took us to the leading score. Other thing is, if Zen is playing at left tackle, do not run to the left side. Run to the right side. Do some counters to the right side. Do anything to the right side. But the left side, you need to stay away. If it's Donovan Jackson, I'm okay with it to the left side. I think Luke Montgomery is going to be fine to fill in. He did okay at the end of the game against Nebraska. I think we're going to come out with a win. This is literally two coaches as a whole that need this win badly to convince their fan base that he's the right guy for the job. Now, I can tell you right now, it'll go a lot further for James Franklin than it will Ryan Day, because Ryan Day has already beaten James Franklin over and over and over. He's literally James Franklin's 1-9. I could honestly see if Franklin wins this game, 5-year extension next week from Penn State. I'm not even joking about that. Like,
I think you're right.
If Franklin wins this game, Penn State's going to come running up there going, 5-year extension. You finally did it. Like, here you go, bud.
We got my good friend TK saying he will fully recant all of his hate for James Franklin if they win this game this week. He is currently blocked by his head coach. All right, so that's the bottom line.
I can tell you right now that it's going to be loud. It's a noon game. They all want to cry and moan and all this stuff. When for year after year, it was always whiteout, Ohio State or Michigan. Whiteout. Oh, that's our whiteout game. And finally, the networks kind of stepped in and were like, well, wait a minute. We never put you guys on the road at night games for them. And everyone's like, oh, well, it was.
And we have way better infrastructure than that damn place. There's one road in, one road out, not even a big enough plane half the time.
And by the way, I'm sorry, we are in a major city. So it's like
enough to one.
Totally different one. Look, here's the thing. Everyone wants to talk about Penn State and all this stuff about the night game. They all want to cry and say, oh, man, we need the night game. And then they're like, well, you guys hosted us 3 times for the night game. I'm like, you hosted us 7 times in a row as your whiteout game. 7 times in a row. You hosted Michigan 6 times in a row. There's a 13-year period where your whiteout game was Ohio State or Michigan every other year.
Not rivals, by the way.
Nope, they're unrivaled. They couldn't put us down against a rivalry. They're unrivaled. Look, okay, that is another reason why I want to go in there and just beat the shit out of them.
There we go. There it is.
Because they did not want to put us down, and we put them down. And I want to say to them, you guys are scared of us. You're scared of us. Yeah, that's what I want. This is what I want to do to them on Saturday. I want to impose our will and say, you are scared of us. And when we do,
like what we did against them last year, just do an all run down their throat drive.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? I want this to be a defensive, masterful performance finally from a Jim Knowles defense that looked good last week against a pretty high-powered Nebraska offense. They've been putting up some points and throwing the ball well, and we actually looked very good in coverage. The other thing is we finally brought the blitz and disrupted the quarterback. If you bring the blitz this week against a hobbled Drew Allar, we're going to be fine. If the other guy goes out there, you know you're going to have to spy him, which is fine. We have that guy in Sonny Styles that can spy the quarterback. Look, I'm not worried about their offense. I'm worried about our offense putting the defense in bad situations. But guess what? Rely on your running backs and trust them to run the ball. You have 2 great running backs. And when it doesn't happen, run the RPOs. But instead of running the RPOs, just have Will Howard run it and take off up the middle. Like, let's start. You know what? Let's run a high school offense. And I don't care. Run it down their goddamn ass. I want to walk out of there with a 21-10 win and call it a day. And let's just move the hell on. So That's
a lot of stuff going on. I mean,
that is not my prediction. My prediction is actually 28-17. I think we win, and I think they score a late touchdown to make it that close.
There's a lot of stuff going on. It's been brought to my attention that the Columbus Dispatch, apparently, whatever your big newspaper is, everyone picked Penn State. That's certainly something. The whole fan base was having seizures online. I mean, Zack can attest to this. The Fire Ryan Day, I think, was actually trending. I mean, it was a total collapse. I mean, just the energy from the fan base coming in before the season and now where we're at. Just certainly interesting. Obviously, I can't say much because my fan base lied just as much. So, a lot of things worry me. I have been talking to my good friend TK for a bit. I listened to Knit Me Pod, which everyone should have subscribed to. They all were terrified. They sounded like me in 2021, where it's like, I can't pick us if you don't beat them. We never beat them. We don't beat them. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen until it does. You got to back your boys. You got to go out there and lose your voice, damn near get arrested screaming so loud because it has an impact. You watch how they played against Oregon. A lot of false starts, a lot of illegal motions, things like that, which, that is fan impacted. I don't care what anyone says. Can I pick them to happen? No, but I will. So I'm not going to pick a score. I'm not going to pick a thing. Will I be rooting? Will I think Ohio State wins? Yes. Will I be rooting for them? Of course not. One of two things is going to happen, and these are my lock of the week. I'm going to have an either or as a lock of the week. Let me know if I can do this. Julian Fleming, fourth quarter touchdown, or a defensive touchdown from JTT. One of the two is going to happen. I don't know what it is. Both are very plus 500. I think either one is. One of the two is going to happen, if not both. So I think this could be a classic because every time in this game, it's a close game with a defensive score that kind of throws it out there. Either Julian Fleming's going to catch the winning touchdown or JTT is going to fumble 6 or pick 6 and win the game. One of the two is going to happen. I don't know which one. It just sucks my games at 3:30.
I'd like to add this real quick. Every time Ryan Day in the media counts the Buckeyes out, especially the Dispatch, we come out and on fucking fire and in a blaze. It's when they get lax, like going into Michigan 2021, everybody was lax about that. It was like, we just beat Michigan State so bad. They were a top 10 team. This is going to be a cakewalk in Ann Arbor. But every time that they blaze down the doors, every single time, Ryan Day fucking steps up because
except last week.
But but they didn't blaze down the doors. Like, the Oregon loss wasn't that bad. The Dispatch was.
You sure?
Yo, very much
out.
So.
Ryan Day took over defense.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Here's the thing: the Dispatch.
We're sitting there last week, and you're like, "We're going to come out there with the fire. We're going to shut this team out."
Hey, we played well. We played well last week on defense.
I understand, but. Thankfully, there's a terrorist that runs North Carolina. My good South Carolina friends warned me about how bad that guy was. But Friola could hit a 5-yard pass. It would have been a bad game.
All right. I guess I have to predict.
I just hope Allard plays for the sake of the game.
I think this is like a game where if James Franklin still wants a job after this year, he has to win it. And I'm going to say that he finally gets it done. He's only beat Ohio State once. This is number 2. I mean, they just have. I mean, that's just the way it is. Ohio State. Okay, I mean, you can't make predictions against your team, I guess.
Hey, you bet that they were going to beat us last year too. So this is
good. Well, this
arguably should have.
Yeah. If Drew Allard plays, I mean, he should be able to move around a little bit. If not, they should do like the 2 quarterback thing, like Michigan did, where they have
I wouldn't hate it.
Passing quarterback and one running quarterback.
Dude, Raiola was running all over him. He sucks.
And honestly, they're going to come out with everything. They're going to throw everything at Ohio State, defensively, offensively, and they're going to just attack whatever side is injured. And they're just going to keep pounding on that side, putting their best players on that side. But I think this is a game where Penn State shocks the world because I feel like a lot of people think Ohio State should walk in and walk out with an easy win. So this is a Penn State where they're going to win. I think we're going to go with that today. It's going to be a close game.
Gotta love it. Backs up against the wall. Doubters on this podcast.
27-20. 27-20.
You know, since both Zach and I have to go to our respective games and are going to miss the fourth quarter of this game, that is going to be an all-time game. That's just how this works.
Also, I didn't give it out yet because I was waiting, but you guys already hinted at it, and I'm kind of upset that you did. I got it yesterday. One less point than it is today. My lock of the week, lock it in. Wisconsin, Iowa, over 40.5 total points. That's my lock of the week. Iowa is just scoring whatever they want. Brendan Sullivan being the quarterback now, they can actually throw the ball a little bit. They should easily put up 21 to 28 points. And that's my lock of the week this week.
Oregon, Michigan over is my lock of the week.
By the way, there is not a lot of good games this week. So,
well, that's good because everybody should just focus on the one big game.
Yeah, there is not a lot of good games, but I did want to point before we end this upset pick of the week. The Aggies go down in South Carolina. Go Cox.
Yeah, 3 points.
Go Cox. Go Cox.
All right, I'm going to take a look at the schedule, see what we got tonight this week. Because
there is one really good game at 8, Pitt and SMU. And
that's where game day should have gone. I understand.
Where is game day? Oh, I didn't even know if it was happening.
I think look, first of all, they can't even televise the game. I think they said it's now the most times they've ever gone to one game in this game. So they go every year.
By the way,
SMU Pitt, dude. This is the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like you go to Dallas, it's on your network.
Yeah, ACC network, baby. Yeah, that's
actually.
Yeah, it is ACC network.
That's so funny. That's so true.
How do you not bump Louisville Clemson?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think that's going to be a blowout. I think Clemson wins that easily.
Because the Cajun or whatever, the KJ Lacey, whatever his name is, Lacey, opted out of Louisville.
And we'll hit on it real quick. World's largest outdoor cocktail party. It's 13.5. Take Georgia all day long. Blowout.
Yeah. I have 3 picks of the week that I'm going to roll with.
Lagway's fun.
I already gave one. Iowa, Wisconsin over. That's my one play. I got 2 more plays of the week. Number 2, Oregon minus 14.5. We kind of already touched on that. Blake thinks this team's depleted through no demand. The last play of the week, we're going to roll with it until it fails us. Don't fail us now. Army minus 21.5. This team is a fucking wagon. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep rolling. And they're going to roll into Notre Dame in a couple weeks or whatever they play and beat the piss out of them.
Army is right now on an 11-game winning streak. That is the longest in the country.
They have played 7 games this year. They are 7-0 against the spread.
Correct. And they're going to keep rolling this week. I don't know if anyone saw, but some cadets kind of broke into the Air Force Stadium and put tape on seats to make a CH to start the cheer force. Can I say they were totally correct?
Goodness.
Any other final thoughts, Blake?
I absolutely love Arkansas this week.
Man.
Also, if you want 2 risky plays,
Navy, outright.
If you want a little bit of risk plays,
yes. 2
risk plays, Navy minus 10.5. I think that's a good bounce back spot for them. And Pitt plus 7.5. I feel like that game's going to come down to the end.
Maybe I
think Pitt is legit.
I think SMU still wins.
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a friggin' shootout. But yeah, Blake looks like he's lost in the sauce.
Tennessee minus 17.5.
Who do they play?
Kentucky.
Oh yeah, and they're wearing the black uniforms. Oh yeah, it's a uniform.
Yeah.
Also,
whoever
is playing Oklahoma State, I don't care who it is. I don't know what the spread is. Take that because those uniforms are hideous. I don't know what they thought.
Also, by the way, after we're done with this, go look up the Army uniforms that they're going to wear on Saturday. They are just downright filthy.
Arizona State is favored on the road against Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take
State.
Oklahoma
Again,
State.
that's what we can talk about.
Apparently, Oklahoma State has lost 7 straight to Arizona State or something.
Well, they don't play often, so
they talk about this nonsense, this returning production nonsense.
Yeah, that.
I think Oklahoma State's going to win the Big 12 because of returning production. They haven't won a conference game. Okay, I don't care if you return shit. Oregon has 14 transfers that are starting this year. How are they doing?
Yep. So.
Oh yeah, Clemson's over there.
Oh, also, shout out to Freddie Freeman. Just cause, guy who played unbelievable.
Fred.
And he beat the Yanks.
That's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else. Basketball starts next week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Texas on Monday.
Texas?
Ooh. Yeah, we got Texas.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
We're starting off the season hot.
Yeah. It's
it's crazy.
I think we play like Monmouth.
Who do you guys play?
Monmouth. I don't know. I don't even know.
We're playing
we play Monmouth Hawks. I don't even know who that is. Don't even know where they're from.
Monmouth? You had their they had those great celebrations and everything.
Then we play Niagara.
Oh,
And then we play the Fighting Hunter Dickinson.
We got Texas in Vegas on Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern tip.
That's terrible.
So
you're playing in Vegas?
Yes.
Ooh.
So
against Gus Fring? Whoa, good luck.
I know. So hey folks.
God,
also
it said
one
most
last
recent
shout out.
games and it's just all L's. I forgot about it.
One more shout out before we end this. Shout out to the legend himself. Brought life back to the city of Cleveland. Jameis Winston. Absolute legend. Legendary performance against the Baltimore Ravens. Just have to give him a quick shout out.
They scored 20 points.
They scored 20 points. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
hey, I did want to do
45 for the third time this year.
One quick shout out. Men's ice hockey actually swept Bowling Green in convincing fashion this weekend. So that was also their 5-0-1, shockingly, which I did not think they were going to be that good, but they have had some good goaltending this year, so makes a big difference. So.
And they just announced the music guest for Big Noon Kickoff because they're trying to get people to go to it. 2 friends.
Oh, okay then. Oh,
and then guest picker is Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah, they're just trying
I figured that. So
he'll do his James Franklin impression, which is hilarious. That's one of the best videos of all time when he's out there just doing.
Yeah, he's running on the
no neck run.
He's like this. So yeah.
Oh God, James Franklin, what a dork! Can't wait for him to choke this weekend. Whoops. Freudian slip. But yeah, that's all I got for this week.
Okay.
Any closing thoughts? Probably not.
Nope. Go Bucks.
All right.